Dear GPT Builder, we want to let you know that we will launch the GPT Store next week. This was sent out last week, by the way. If you're interested in sharing your GPT in the store, you'll need to review our updated usage policies and GPT brand guidelines to ensure that your GPT is compliant. I'm not going to go on to read the rest of the email, but I will show you the email I got. All right, so let's talk about this opportunity in terms of using GPTs and how developers and non-developers, non-coders, can actually benefit from this. Let's talk about it. Let me put this away. Phone is down. Let's go, let's go. The road is clear. All right, so this is what's happening. We know that OpenAI is dominating the AI industry with ChatGPT, right? And we know that back in November, they launched the ability for people to create their own custom GPTs. Now, if you're a premium member, you get this capability. That means that obviously you're paying the $20 per month. And I created a bunch of GPTs for my own personal use case for different types of scenarios in terms of coding, in terms of, just ideation of different types of projects, things of that nature. But I think there's going to be a WordPress moment or an App Store moment like the iOS App Store or the Google Play Store type moment over here. We know that ChatGPT, launched and quickly became one of the most popular apps to ever explode or come on the scene. They were able to grow to something like 100 million users in record time. And since they were first to market, they have that head start. And that head start matters. There's a lot of comparisons here when it comes to platforms like WordPress. WordPress came to the scene back in 2004-ish, right? It was previously a different type of blogging system, but it officially came out, within the early 2000s, and it was slow to, gain its popularity. They didn't have the fast uprise that ChatGPT had. But over time, it became the dominant force within the industry in terms of website platforms. Now, when iOS came out with the ability for developers to create their own apps, that also saw a major shift in terms of people focusing their development attention to the iOS platform. Now, why is there a comparison here between what OpenAI is doing with the GPT Store and with these other platforms like iOS and Google Play Store and in my case, what I'm comparing it to is the WordPress ecosystem. The reason why I compare them, and some people have already compared the App Store experience, but I'm also comparing the WordPress experience, is because we're going to see an explosion once this goes live. It might go live today, might already be live by the time I upload this video, because it is the week that it's supposed to go live. We might see an explosion. We will see an explosion of people creating their own custom GPTs. And there's going to be an opportunity for people who are savvy enough to figure out how to make sure they can create good lead funnels with these platforms. And what do I mean by that? Well, if you look at WordPress, right, you have the WordPress directory, the online directory, the official website, WordPress.org. And there you're going to see there's over 11,000 themes. You have a crazy amount of plugins, like 58,000, 59,000 plugins just on the directory of WordPress itself. And all of those are free, but they're a freemium model. A lot of them are a freemium model. So you have people going there, downloading the themes, downloading the plugins, and then what they do is, not everybody, but a good portion of them end up leveling up in terms of getting a premium subscription, whether it's to an SEO plugin or a security plugin or a premium theme or something like that. So you have the freemium model, and that's what's going to happen with the GPT Store. You're going to see that a lot of people are going to create, really good GPTs, right? There's going to be a lot of them that are probably not going to be good, just to be honest with you. That's the nature of the beast over here, where a lot of stuff gets thrown at the wall, and, only a few things will end up sticking in terms of popularity, user growth, things of that nature. But you're going to see a lot of GPTs get created. A lot of them will be, have duplicate features and functionality in terms of from one GPT to another GPT. But then you're going to see that there's going to be a couple of outliers. There's going to be some early successes, and OpenAI is going to make sure, just like every other platform does it, it's not just OpenAI, but they're going to make sure that a couple of people will end up doing well. And I don't mean they're going to handhold, the developers, or they're gonna, artificially inflate numbers. What I do mean is the fact that something Sam Altman already said himself, that if a GPT is useful, then it will be on the leaderboard. It will be featured. So you're going to see that there's going to be some promotion of organic GPTs that are performing well, that are going to get even higher levels of usage in terms of, people using it, because they'll be on this leaderboard. And from there, as long as they play by the rules that currently exist, and the rules as they'll change, because that's what always happens on these platforms. They'll start off with very lenient rules in terms of what's allowed on the platform. And then over time, they'll tighten up the rules a little bit, because like everything, there will be some issues that will transpire from it. So as long as the GPT creators follow the rules, what's going to happen is you're going to have these freemium models where they'll use the base features built into GPT with ChatGPT, but there'll be an opportunity for a person to maybe go to an external site and potentially sign up for a more robust service. And then with an API key, they'll most likely be able to integrate that premium service with their GPT that's been custom built by the GPT creator. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm thinking about this and just non-filtering, just spitting it out as I think about it. It's happened before. This is not something new. This is not, some breakthrough idea. But what's going to happen is, because there's going to be so many people, developers and non-developers, creating these GPTs, these custom GPTs, there's going to be a major investment. And who wins here? Well, there's going to be the small percentage of GPT creators who are going to do really well in terms of financial success. OpenAI definitely wins, because in order to, one, create the GPTs, you need a premium account, right? You need ChatGPT Plus. And in order to use a custom GPT, or a GPT that's either created by OpenAI or ChatGPT or one of these GPT creators, you also need GPT Plus or ChatGPT Plus, the premium subscription to it. So that's $20 a month. And then with so much investment in terms of time and energy from developers and non-developers creating these different types of custom GPTs, that's just going to drive the usage of ChatGPT itself. And then it's going to follow a same model that WordPress did in terms of massive growth over time. One, ChatGPT already had massive growth, but even more growth. There's still growth on the table, right? And you're going to see that there's going to be a lock-in. Now, lock-in is, people are familiar with that term when it comes to iOS or Google, where you're kind of locked into the platform based on the types of software apps you use. So for instance, if you let's say you're a MacBook user or you're a Mac OS user, and you like using Final Cut, to edit your videos. I don't use Final Cut. I use Adobe Premiere Pro, but, I hear a lot of people who say that Final Cut is blazingly fast. But if you are, interested in using Final Cut, then you have to use an Apple computer, right? Either a laptop or one of their desktop solutions. Some of the iOS apps are locked in particularly to iOS. Now, there's going to be some that are, and a lot of them might have alternative versions on a different Play Store, on the Google Play Store, but you're kind of locked into the ecosystem. So the same thing can happen here. There's going to be a lock-in where you're going to have so many developers, so many creators are going to create these custom GPTs, and that is going to end up driving up the usage of ChatGPT itself and locking a lot of people in, because some of these GPTs will not be transferable to other systems. Now, this is where some savvy developers will find a way, and it's not that difficult to do, to make sure that they can be cross-platform compatible in terms of AI. Now, what do I mean by that? ChatGPT is not the first one to offer these custom, agents in terms of these GPT type solutions. There's others. They're just not as big, right? And there's going to be more that come on the scene, very soon. I'm sure there's going to be a flooding of the industry in terms of different AIs that offer this opportunity. So what's going to happen is developers are going to say, do I want to get locked into just one ecosystem? It's kind of like some developers who want to make an app that works well on iOS and work on Google Play Store at the same time. So if you have a website and you offer a premium service and you have an API key or some way for a person to access that service, you're going to see that that service ends up getting wrapped into some of these other GPT models. So you're going to see some of them integrated with ChatGPT, and they'll make an alternative for whatever other GPT store exists, either online or for some of these other services. Now, that is what's going to end up happening. And it's going to be interesting to see how much this explodes. It's a good opportunity for developers. It's a great opportunity for developers, and it's a good opportunity for people who don't know how to code to create some of these custom GPTs. But the ones that benefit the most are going to be the developers that are able to create some type of solution that requires integration with an API key or some REST API or something like that, where they'll need a premium subscription, they'll authenticate with the GPT service, and they'll be available on multiple types of GPT platforms. Those GPT platforms may not be as abundant today, but I'm pretty sure they're coming. I'm pretty sure a lot of companies, more than the ones that we've already heard of, are investing time, money, and energy into creating these platforms. So it's having a moment, and how much money can be made. Now, when they announced the ChatGPT store, the GPT store that they're going to be releasing, opening probably today, tomorrow, who knows when, they didn't announce initially the pricing model or the share in profit. They said they would share profit with their most useful GPTs, but they didn't announce the split. So is it going to be a typical 70-30 split like what some people are familiar with? I don't see it being that. I could be wrong, but the fact that ChatGPT charges $20 per month in order for a premium service for the ChatGPT Plus, and they're doing the bulk of the work in terms of the processing on their side. I'm not sure they'll offer a 30% split or 70-30 type split, especially if they're not getting any other additional types of revenue from the user itself. Now, if they start offering the ability for these GPTs to be available for non-paying customers, and then they find a way to integrate advertising into it, then maybe there can be a similar type of split, but that's to be seen. But now if we look at iOS, if we look at the Apple App Store, and we look at what's been done before in terms of these different apps. Now, not all apps make a fortune, right? That I'm not going to say that you create an app or you create a GPT, you're going to be an overnight millionaire. But you kind of look at what's the potential. And that's the motivating force, because sure, we're not going to become overnight millionaires in terms of creating one GPT, but it's possible. You had the creator of, what was it, Flappy Birds? He made an app that went viral on iOS, and he was making $50,000 per day. $50,000 per day. That's a lot of money. I mean, if you run the numbers on that, that's $1.5 million per month. Now, he did that, and he saw massive success with it. He went viral. He ended up pulling the app from the App Store for reasons that he stated were personal reasons and things of that nature. But there's potential there. When it comes to these digital solutions, the potential is significant. A person can make a crazy amount of money in a relatively short period of time. And it's not going to be the average, not going to be the norm, not going to be the typical situation, but it's the potential. And I think that's what motivates a lot of us. What is the potential out there? So I think ChatGPT is going to have its moments where it grows even further. It entices a lot of developers and non-developers to create different types of GPTs on their platform. It's going to learn from all the stuff that's created. The user growth is going to increase significantly over time. And there might be a lock-in for those who don't find a way to create other types of external solutions that can be utilized on different types of platforms. So the GPT Store, I think it's a great idea. I think it's an opportunity to do what people have done with iOS apps and make money there, or Google Play Store apps and make money there, or even WordPress in terms of freemium models. They make money via free themes, free plugins, and they're able to then upgrade people to a premium type service. Now the question is, are you going to invest your time into creating these GPTs? Are you going to try to find a way to create a third-party solution? Are you going to create an off-site solution where there can be some type of integration? Again, we don't know exactly how all of this is going to work as of yet. Things are very fluid. Things are going to be changing very rapidly, but there's going to be opportunity there. There's going to be opportunity for the early adopters. There's going to be opportunity for people who are able to move fast and break things. That's the model. Let me know down in the comment section below. What are your thoughts on this? Are you going to get involved in the GPT store? Are you going to start creating something of your own? If so, this is your chance to let people know about it down below. All right, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Happy coding.